Hi there, it's Tom here at DMPG. I'm just making this video to show you an interesting implementation of a GDPR privacy functionality on a website. And not only is it interesting for various reasons that we'll see, but it's also affecting some of our clients, and actually it affects all clients running the Adobe stack, plus probably other technologies as well. So over the weekend I was researching some weather APIs to integrate data into a home automation system, and one of the sites that kept coming up was a site called Weather Underground, and this is ultimately owned by IBM nowadays, and you'll see what happens when I go onto their site, which is wunderground.com. We immediately get presented with a GDPR influenced privacy and use of data policy. Now it looks really good, and it's loading some stuff up here initially, and you can see that it describes the different technologies that are being used with reference to kind of GDPR issues, and allows us to have a look at the in-depth information about all of what's going on there, but also to opt in and opt out of all these different types of technologies. Now, the first thing to note is that by default they have selected opt-in for us. Now that is explicitly stated in the GDPR legislation that that is not allowed. So you're not allowed to initially opt in or opt out anyone. They have to physically click something to say that they are opting into that particular technology. So even in this case, where we still have to click submit preferences, these are all pre-selected as opt-in, and therefore this is an incorrect implementation already. Now it looks like it's brought to us by someone else, not Weather Underground or IBM, but a company called TrustArc, and we can have a look at what they're up to as well. Now they're providing the same kind of stuff, and you can see immediately they've got a different style of implementation on here, where they're opting out by default, which okay is probably all acceptable, even though it is explicitly stated that that's not allowed in the GDPR regulations. Let's go back to Weather Underground though. So we've opted in for all of these, but actually let's opt out for all of these, right? So now we just want to use the website, by the way. Here we're not trying to do anything. We are forced to go through this procedure. Now I'll click submit preferences. Now we get a pop-up, right? And all of our windows are loading stuff, and we can see stuff going on in the pop-up, and oh Christ, we're processing now. Okay, so 14% processing. How long is it going to take me to actually be able to use this website? So yeah, it's not an ideal user experience from the start. Look, we're not even 44% through, 50% nearly processing all of this. All I wanted to do was look at the website. So here we are, still waiting. I don't know how long that's been now, but it's good 15-20 seconds so far, probably longer, and we're a couple of minutes into this process of wanting to look at this website, and I'm still waiting here, sat here waiting. So we might even get somewhere soon. So it says 100%, but we're still waiting, and we can still see stuff's going off. Okay, so everything's just disappeared now. I didn't click anything, did it automatically. We've got another banner at the bottom telling it's all been updated, so we'll close that. And now, lo and behold, I can use the website as I see fit. That's all really great, right? Now, this morning, over the weekend, I was using this site, and I'd opted out of everything just to see how it went anyway. And this morning, I went on to our website, dmpg.co.uk, and I was firing up some Adobe Target stuff on here, and I couldn't get it working, and I didn't know why. So standard debugging procedure, went into developer tools, and the first thing that's odd, I can see here that it says AT, which always stands for Adobe Target in this case, rendering mbox failed, target global mbox. Okay, oh, object error disabled due to opt out. Now I'm in an incognito window, which means that none of my preferences have been saved on this website at all, but it does appear that I am opted out for Adobe Target at the very least on dmpg.co.uk. Now I haven't done that manually at all. Let's refresh dmpg again, and let's have a look at mbox, Okay, inbox response disabled due to opt out. Okay, so my Adobe Target on DMPG is not running at all. What about analytics? Oops. Let's have a look at analytics. Well, analytics has been created and sent off. We only have just at the moment we have a 0 implementation or baseline implementation just right this second. That appears to be going off okay, but I also notice that I only have one cookie running here in the request header, which means that Marketing Cloud ID service is not running. So let's have a look at Demdex. No, nothing for Demdex in there, which means Marketing Cloud ID service is not running. So yeah, we kind of don't really know what's going on here, but pretty certain that Adobe Analytics is failing pretty heavily at the moment. Now why is that? Well, let's go back to Wunderground, and this was the only place that, or the only site that I thought that I'd actually used where I possibly might have opted out of something. If we go to our privacy settings down here at the bottom again, this brings up this table here again with all of our technologies where we can opt in, opt out, and you can see that opt out is selected here. Now let's go to functional technologies and see what's going on here. Well, I can't see any Adobe stuff there. Let's go to interest-based advertising. Let's have a look. Oh look, Adobe Marketing Cloud advertising services. It would appear that I'm opted out to Adobe Marketing Cloud advertising services. Now I've opted out on Weather Underground, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I've opted out of this on any other website whatsoever. However, the implementation that's being done here has, it would appear, opted me out of every single service or every single website's implementation of Adobe Target. So let's go and see another one. Let's go to Saga, which is one of our clients, and see if we have Target running on here. No, AT request failed, disabled due to opt out. Okay, let's try Bowden. Let's have a look. AT get offer request failed, disabled due to opt out. Let's go to Adobe and see what's going on over in Adobe. Well, we don't seem to have anything, but I'm going to accept cookies now, which is refreshing the page. Oh, Adobe Target offer request failed, disabled due to opt out. So because I've opted out on Weather Underground, it would appear that I have now opted out across the whole of the internet from Adobe, probably Analytics as well, but Adobe Target and Adobe Marketing Cloud, plus anything else that is on here. Now, as far as I'm aware, this is not a reasonable implementation of privacy settings. So we probably opted out of Google Analytics as well. Let's go back to DMPG and see what Google Analytics is doing, because we have Google Analytics installed on here. Well, we have collect. That seemed to be okay, but in the request headers we have no cookies, no GA cookies or anything like that. So there's a slim possibility there that we won't get any analytics from Google Analytics either way. So how do we get back in? Well, we come back to Weather Underground, if assuming that we know that we're actually here, and we go, well, I'll opt into these. Oh, hang on, I can't click that. I can't click that. So how do I opt back into all of this? Right, first of all, some opt-outs failed. Opt-outs request responded with error or timeout. So it means I haven't opted out of everything that I've been asked to opt out with anyway. So that's another failure in all of this. And then to undo this preference, you must clear your browser cookies and cache. So I've now got to go and clear all of my cookies and cache to actually get this back working again across all websites. So let's clear some cookies on DMPG. Here we go, DMPG, Mbox. Now, did we get it? No, still disabled due to opt out. So I've cleared the cookies on DMPG, still disabled. So let's clear the cookies on Weather Underground. And we'll do that here. and let's refresh on DMPG. Still disabled. Right. So let's refresh Weather Underground again. Now everything seems to be okay there. So let's go and refresh DMPG again. I'm still disabled due to opt out. Right. So if I go to privacy settings again, which are now loading, this is all on Weather Underground and nothing to do with DMPG, but it is of course affecting it. Now I still can't opt into any of these. I've cleared my cookies, but I don't want to clear my cache because my cache is full of a load of data that's been stored over the last few years, and I'm not interested in clearing the cache on this, and I shouldn't have to clear the cache to be able to opt in. So it's a really terrible implementation. Now, one way I can just temporarily clear my cache is just by closing my incognito browser. So I'm going to do that right now. So let's close incognito, and we will go back and create a new incognito and go to dmpg.co.uk and see if we can see Adobe Target run again. So I immediately can see this is an Adobe Target activity that we've got running on the site. So I can immediately see it's come back. But the point is that the implementation is not valid from the start because it automatically opts you in or opts you in by default. And the implementation also affects all websites that are running these technologies, which is not the way that the implementation or the regulations were supposed to be held. Yes, there is supposed to be an overriding setting that you could apply to say do not track me across anything or do not provide personalization across anything, but that option was never presented to me on Weather Underground. I was only ever given the option to just opt out on what would appear to be their site only. I think this is a major issue, and I think this needs to be addressed because people are going to want to have personalized experiences on some sites, but maybe not others, and the blanket implementation that Weather Underground have done using the TrustArc system violates the privacy of users across the rest of the websites that aren't actually related to the original intended website that they wanted to opt out from, and it's a major issue. So hopefully that gives you an insight into the way not to do it, and also if you ever get these issues where Target's not running and you're seeing this kind of thing, how to clear the issue as well. But it's an interesting implementation, and I think it's something that we'll be pursuing from a company point of view to try and get it resolved, because this will be affecting unnecessarily some of our clients. Feel free to let me know any questions and I'll try and answer them as quick as I can. Thanks very much. Bye bye.